We searched for probably 2 weeks until we found something.
Okay.
I know some people search for years, but every morning I was on phone till like 7 o'clock. Like, is it a new house? Is it a new house? And, just sending like emails and calling the maklars and asking like, yeah, is it still on the market? Can we get a viewing? Yeah. But then we also hired him to do the bidding, which I could have just did that myself. You pay $1,600 for the bidding. Would I do it again? No.
Okay.
But you can pay for that. We didn't think anyone would take us serious if we did not have anyone representing us. So then we hired him for that.
Okay.
So I think overall we pay him like 2.550.
Hi everybody, I am here again. Another interview with someone who has bought a house here in the Netherlands. Here is Shay. I have a list of questions as usual. I would ask and you share whatever you're comfortable sharing with the internet. As we like to begin, an introduction.
So hey everyone, I'm Shay, originally from America. I've been living in the Netherlands for 4 years now with my husband. And yeah, we bought our first house in May.
This is your first house in the Netherlands?
Yes.
So you've been renting all this while?
Yeah, we were renting for 3 years before this.
I think a question in that is like, why didn't you buy immediately? But we'll
we was broke.
Okay, quick answer. The first question is, why did you guys decide to buy a house? Did you want to buy this immediately you came, but you were broke? Or were there other reasons why you waited and then decided at this point to buy a house and not rent?
So we were renting at the same place for 3 years. We already discussed buying a house probably a year and a half, 2 years into renting, because we were literally just making someone else rich. Probably paid off this guy's mortgage or something. Well, not really.
Yeah.
But we were like, we want something for ourselves. And then we also had just had our son. So we were like, well, we want like him to be able to pay his room. We want like a nice area next to the playground or just something for yourselves that you can like eventually pass down to your kids. Like, so we wanted to like also create like generational wealth where he also has that.
Yeah.
And just also something for us.
Your main motivations here was really family.
Yeah.
And you couldn't do all of this previously until May? Or how long have you been searching for a house?
We searched for probably 2 weeks until we found something.
Okay.
I know some people search for years, but every morning I was on phone till like 7 o'clock. Like, is it a new house? Is it a new house? And, just sending like emails and calling the maklars and asking like, yeah, is it still on the market? Can we get a viewing?
Yeah. Okay, deciding to buy in May was because you guys had saved enough, or were there other reasons why?
No, honestly, when we decided to buy a house, we did not even think about our savings or look into our savings really. We're just like, okay, like hopefully it is enough.
Yeah.
But it was because I was working for my company for a year. They kept promising me a permanent contract, but then they would say, well, we don't have the budget. And then they told me in April, we will give you the permanent contract. And I had already signed the contract, I think in March.
Yeah.
And so then that's when I was like, well, hey, I'm going to get the contract. We should just do it immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as I get the contract, we should buy the house. Because of my husband's income, it maybe is enough to get an apartment or something, but that's not nice for a kid. So.
Okay. I think that was what I was trying to find. Like, why did you decide May? But I think the contract was also like maybe an indication at that moment that we should go for this. Okay. Yeah. Has there been much difference between renting and buying in the sense of the financial part? Of course, you have freedom with your house and other benefits, which we'll talk about later. Regarding how much you pay monthly on rent previously, has there been much difference on that with your house now and the mortgage?
I think when we were paying rent, it started off at like 12 or 1300 a month, but I think every year it was going up by like 50 or 100 euros. So I think when we were leaving, it probably was like 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
So we were looking for something in that price range, but with the mortgage, you do get like some tax cut back on it, like I don't know what you call it, but they will give you some taxes back on it. So when we took out our mortgage, the monthly payment was, I think, 2.4K or something like that.
A month? Okay. Sorry, go on.
So that's how much it was a month. But then with the tax cuts, you're probably paying the same you paid when you were renting. So
okay.
So they probably give you 900 or something back. You probably pay 1.5 or 1.6.
Ah, okay. So without a tax cut, you're paying much more than you were on rent. But with the tax cut, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, but everybody gets the tax cut.
So you are not necessarily saving on monthly rent.
No, not necessarily, no.
But then you have your own space.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So what was your experience? And by your, I mean me and your husband. Sorry. What? You And your husband? I will be using you a lot, but I'm referring to you guys.
Yeah.
You guys just feel so long to say.
Yes.
But what was your experience like with buying a house? Were there any particular challenges or surprises that came up?
Not necessarily. We didn't have that many surprises. I would say maybe we bid on one house in the beginning. It was on the market for 500K. We bid 510. Very nice area, but there was nothing around. So my husband was like, there's literally nothing here. But I was like, but it's so nice. It looks like America, so I wanted it. And we bid 510 because I believe if you go over 510, you need to pay 10% of the price of the house.
Is it 510? I thought it was 450.
No, I think 450 is the NHG.
I don't know what that means.
Me either. I think the NHG is regarding around if you stay under 450 or maybe I think it's 465 now. The government is liable if you lose your job or if you get sick, they will help pay your mortgage. But if you go over that, then you're your own liability.
Okay. And then what is the 510?
The 510 is you need to pay 10% of the housing tax because it's over 510.
Yeah,
it's a certain
the tax
value.
transfer.
Yeah, the transfer tax actually.
Yeah, transfer tax, yeah.
Yeah, you need to pay that. So we were like, well, we don't got 10% is 50K, right?
Yeah.
51K to be exact. We don't got that. We did not go forward because we bid the 510. They said, no, the house is valued at, I think 530, 540. And they want 530, 540.
Yeah.
And I said, then why don't you place it on the market for 530 or 540?
Yeah. Why'd you put 500?
Why are you wasting my time? And so they didn't accept us. So that was a letdown. So I would say the challenge would be every house you see that it is nice, then you are placing bids and your financial advisor or your maklar, whoever it is, they will have to do a lot of work to get all the estimations and stuff like that. So I wouldn't place bids on a house unless I'm 100% sure this is what I want.
Yeah. Okay.
So the only challenge is just to be, strategic in your bidding.
Was this the first house you guys found and bid for that you eventually got?
We got the second house that we bid for.
So is it the second house you're talking about now with the 510 or
No, it's the first house.
Okay.
That's the first one we saw, but we probably saw about 8 houses. We did not like a lot of them, and some of them, they needed a lot of renovation. With our son, we were just not at a place that we can do renovation works to own the house and then to still rent. We just were not at that place.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we were really looking for something that I think in Dutch is what? In-stop klaar. And so we were really looking for something like that.
Okay. Going back to the question of if there are particular challenges or surprises, did you have any of that with these 8 houses that you found interesting?
No, not really. No. I would say, and maybe this is a question for later, I'm not sure. In the process of buying the house, after we got the building inspection, then they do give you this paper of 200 pages or something with pictures from every single thing in the house, and they tell you what needs to be updated. And I don't think we took that seriously because the glass is double insulated, so it's a glass outside, glass inside, and they did tell us there was moisture building up, and so in the few years you would have to replace it, but now the windows are already leaking, so probably needs to be replaced soon. And so I think we would have took that clause seriously, and we would have made the previous owners pay for it because you can still do that. With the inspection, you say, well, this needs to be fixed in 2 years. I don't want to fix it, so either you give us a discount or you pay for it, type of thing. So
okay, well, interesting that you bring that up. I didn't know that was something on the table. I thought it was something of this is how it is, take it or leave it. I didn't know you could negotiate that.
Yeah, you can negotiate it. For instance, the sink, the inspector, he did see that the sink was leaking in the kitchen, and the day we signed for the house, the previous owner, we told them yeah, you need to fix it because we're expecting the house to be ready because that's what you advertise it as.
Yeah.
And we moved in, I think on the 22nd of May, and the same day a plumber came and fixed it. So
okay.
Yeah, he paid for it.
So I find it interesting that you found a house in 2 or 3 weeks. I am curious if you used the real estate agent or if you had to, you and your husband, if you had to go through the process by yourself.
Yeah, we decided to just do it ourselves because maklar is so expensive. The only thing we had, I think, the only person we hired was our financial advisor. And so he did he sent the mortgage in. You have to have that because you cannot do that yourself. You can find stuff yourself on Funda. I think if you're in a overstimulated area such as Amsterdam, you probably need a maklar because everything on Funda is probably gone.
Yeah.
And the maklar will know the market and know stuff that is still there and stuff that isn't.
You mentioned about a home inspection. Did you mean you had to pay a different technical inspection, or was it a free inspection that comes with buying a house?
Niks is gratis in Nederland.
Oh, yeah.
You have a technical inspection. I don't think you have to pay for it. They recommend that you do it so that you're not blindsided by something wrong in the house. It is required that you do the taxation. You have to get the taxation. You do need to get that one. But the technical inspection, I don't think you are required to do it.
Do you remember how much you paid then for the inspection?
If I'm not mistaken, the inspection was, I have it in my notebook.
She actually came prepared with the notes.
The taxation was 620, so 620 euro.
The taxation or the inspection?
Oh, the inspection was 465.
For 65?
Yeah.
And the taxation was
620.
I don't know if I should take note of that now or if you should already explain what the taxation means. Because I know that when you buy a house, there are probably some taxes you have to pay, and I don't know, some insurance you have to pay before you can move in. I don't know if this is what you're talking about with taxation.
No, the taxation is just the value of the home. So they will come by. So the house was 475. So they will go and see if the house is actually worth 475 or less or more.
Okay, you're talking about the second house now, because I remember you said previously 510, but that was the previous house. Okay, so this particular house now, you bought it 475.
No. It was on the market for 475.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they just checked if it was actually worth 475.
Yeah, if it was worth it or if it was worth your bill.
And that is the taxation?
Yeah.
That's a new name. I didn't know that's what the name is called, because previous interview, someone also mentioned this, that the bank comes to check if the house is actually what the price is, and the bank has to check that before they give you a loan.
Yeah, but that's different. That's the WZO, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And they just value the house based off of the values around the house.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually go in the house and see the house. Like the taxation, they will check every room, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, if there was any renovations done, you know, the dating of the appliances and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think then they will do the taxation off of that.
This is different from the technical inspection.
Yes.
And this taxation is something you have to do.
Yes.
So the taxation is something you have to do, and that is where the taxes are calculated on everything in the house.
Yeah.
And is that part of your, well, there's a question on mortgage, but just to ask it now before I forget, is that part of your mortgage that you get from the bank, or is that something you pay from your own pocket?
The taxation?
Yeah.
Usually it is from your own pocket. You will pay it, and like when they come and do it, they will send you an email like, hey, we can put this on a bill at the notary, or you can pay it now or something like that. I think most people just say put it on the bill at the notary. Back
to the question of real estate agents, you did it entirely yourself, and the only thing you had to get was a financial advisor.
Yeah, we got a financial advisor.
Yeah, and again, that is just more on the financial side and the agreements you have with the bank regarding mortgage. But all you had to do was Fonda.
Yeah, we just use Fonda, yeah.
Because the next question was going to be if there were any websites or resources that you used in your search. So besides Fonda, was there some other website or, I don't know, techniques you did during your search?
No, we use Funda, and then we also use Water Living, I believe is the name.
Okay.
But we just used it for like an explanation of the value of homes. Like of the first home we bid on, we had used Water Living, and then they give you like an analysis of the houses surrounding the area and how much they cost, and this should probably be in that range.
Yeah.
But majority, you're going to find all the homes on Funda unless you have like an inside scoop from someone. So you just put like the address in, and then it will tell you like all the specifications and stuff like that of surrounding homes and of this home, and it gives you estimation, but who's to say is accurate or not?
Yeah, because my next question was going to be, how much do you trust the information you get from there?
No.
Did you have to bid, or, well, I mean, I think you already answered that. The question was going to be if you had to pay exactly what you saw online, but then you said you saw 475 online, but obviously that's not how much you paid, right?
Yeah, and then today when I was looking at these questions, I was like thinking like, dang, we should have bid less than what we bid. So basically what happened was we were seeing a lot of houses. We were about to go away for the weekend for my son's birthday, and I saw this house get back on the market, and I said, I called this lady about this house like 2 weeks ago and it was gone. So then I was like, okay, and let me just call her again, and she was like, yeah, it's back on the market. The previous owners, they chose a different house, or not the previous owners, but the previous bidders, they want a different house.
Yeah.
And so she was saying on April 6th, we're going to have an open house, and so you can come to the open house. I said, no, I want to see it today. She's like, come at 2:00.
Okay.
Boom. Get the baby in the car, and so we go over there. I think it's April 2nd, April 3rd. We're looking at the house, and I tell my husband I want it. Like, I want this house. And it was on the market for 475. I just tried to, like do a little sweet talking the maklar, like, like, hey, how much did the previous people bid, And she was like, yeah, 507.
Whoa, from 475?
Yeah.
Did you trust that?
I don't know. Like, at that point I did, but I was not bidding 507. So I was like, 507? She was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And I said, but what are they expecting?
Isn't that public information, though? Like, what people have bid?
It's only public information if me and them bid before the bidding closed in the previous listing.
Okay.
But I would not be able to know. But legally, I can know if anybody bid when I bid.
Okay, so you can only know when you are bidding at the same time.
Yes.
But because these people had bid previously, so you don't have access to that information anymore.
No.
So what did you end up bidding then?
Yeah, it was 475. They bid 507. I talked to my financial advisor. He said, I think it's wise that we do 495.
20K.
Yeah.
You regret that?
Nah, it's a nice house.
Oh, that's a bit of consolation then.
So yeah, we were like, okay, 20K, because I mean, she's like, somebody bid way over 20K. And so we were like, yeah, let's just do it. We did the 495. We got a call the next day, and the maklar, she was like, the owners just want to know if you're going to get the mortgage. Are you sure that you can get the mortgage? Because some people face complications where the bank just will not give them the money because they don't have the finances.
Yeah.
Maybe that comes into play of having a Dutch partner. I don't know. My financial...
Having a Dutch partner, how does that help?
I guess based off of if their income is more, maybe.
Okay.
Because my husband's income was more, so I think they were just a bit hesitant if we both were expats.
Okay.
And if something was to happen with our work in the process of this, that then we cannot afford to mortgage.
Okay.
And so,
but because you have somebody already here, then there's more. Okay.
So yeah, it was 475. We bid 495. They called us the next day and they just asked about like if you're going to get the mortgage. The financial advisor, he said, yeah, I'm sure they're going to get the mortgage because we would have got it for the 510. She says, okay, it's yours. So the day after, we already knew, and then that's when we went through the process of all the paperwork and talking to the banks and stuff.
Considering that this house came back on the market again, did it have to go through a bidding process, or was it just you the seller was talking to?
Yeah, the thing is, because they were going to have the open house that weekend.
The ding.
Oh,
The ding.
the ting.
Is that American, or like the ding is?
And so they were going to put it back on the market, and if they put it back on the market, they would have went through the whole bidding process.
Yeah.
But because we saw it that day, and the owners, they had how do you say it? I don't know the English word. Double lasting. I think it just means like they had double rent because they bought a new house in Enschede. Still have to pay the mortgage for this house until they sell it, and they have to pay the mortgage for the new house.
For the new house, yeah.
And so they just wanted to get rid of it because they did not want the double lasting. When we told her that we wanted it and that we were sure we would get the mortgage, then I think they had one viewer after us. And when I talked to her that day, or the day after, and I said, well, did the other person bid?
Yeah.
And she was just like, no, you already told me you wanted it. So they just came and saw it for fun.
Well, that wasn't nice. If they knew it was just for fun, they shouldn't have wasted your time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't have to bid, and you just bid like 20K over.
Yeah.
Wow. I hear a lot of stories about how much people have to bid, and it's always crazy. I already feel so stressed about 20K, but then I cannot even imagine how... I mean, some people even bid over 100K.
Yeah, I know people bid 50, 60K.
Were you in a hurry in getting a house, though? Or did you just like the house so much that you felt like, 20K is worth it?
No, I think I was in a hurry. My husband, not so much, because he had it tough at work. So he was like, let's just wait a bit till work calms down. Then he can help me to look into it. But I was like, no, like I want to move. I can't stand the agency we were with for renting.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, no, I want to leave. I want to move now because I already have the contract. So I was like, I don't know, something going to happen with the contract. So let's just do it.
I'm also interested in how all of this worked out with you having a partner, whether Dutch or not. But because I know that, or I've heard that sometimes you have like these extra advantages when you're moving in with a partner than if you're just moving in by yourself. You already mentioned that maybe him being Dutch also helped with them trusting you about the mortgage. But was there any other part of the whole process where you felt like the fact that you were doing this together with your partner helped?
Yeah, I think because if you do it alone, then you only have like you have a one family income.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a bit difficult because on one income, like you're going to get a garage in Amsterdam, like, you know, on one income really sometimes. I do think that is like a benefit of having a partner do it with you as well, because then it takes both of your incomes into account.
Yeah, because I heard that what the bank gives you or offers to give you depends on how much you earn.
Yeah.
And so if you find a house that is much more expensive than what your income can get you from the bank, then the rest has to come from your pocket.
It depends. It only comes from your pocket if the taxation is lower than your bid. We bid 20K over, but we did not pay 20K because the house was valued at 500K.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Okay. So you just got the 500 from the bank. Or, no, you just got the 495.
No, we took the full 500 because we put all of the fees from the notary into the mortgage.
Into it. Okay.
Yeah.
Were there any administrative hurdles that you had to overcome, either as a non-Dutch person because your partner is Dutch or as a first-time house buyer?
Me as a non-Dutch, I think the only issue I had was they could not find my passport in the American governmental system or something. So I had to do some extra paperwork for that. But I think that was about it. And just with my contract, because my contract started in April and my financial advisor, he had estimated our mortgage in March. And so because I got the contract, he had to reevaluate everything. And so it was just extra work for him. So
Okay, but aside this, there isn't anything that came up just because you're a first-time buyer.
no, I think you get benefits if you're a first time buyer. I think if you're under 35, you don't have to pay some tax fee, or
Yeah.
I don't know what tax fee it is, but I think you don't have to pay a fee for some stuff. So
Next question was gonna be if you mind sharing the price of the house. But then the other part of the question is, what does your mortgage agreement look like with the bank? Are you paying something fixed for the next, I don't know, 30 years? Is it based on the interest percentage? What does that look like for you?
yeah, I think most are, for instance, ours, we have an annual mortgage for 10 years. I think we can reevaluate it in 10 years. So it just stays with the interest rate. I think linear, it goes up and down based off the interest rate, which I think is better in the end. When you finally pay off your house, is better in the end. But the annual one, it was just a bit more stable for us in our life. We're just like, well, we want something that is consistent and not, you don't know what to expect the next year.
Yeah. I kept thinking the time was 2:58, but that's because it's 2:58 on the screenshots. Because I was thinking, why is the time not changing? And I just realized the time is actually 3:30, not 2:58. So if I get this clearly, you said that in 10 years' time, you can reevaluate. Do you call it reevaluate or renegotiate?
I don't even know what it is called, honestly. I think it's reevaluate. I think it's normal, though, after the 10 years to do that. I believe you can do it before, but you need to pay a big fee.
But then the whole paying back of the loan goes to 30 years.
Yeah. For
What is the thing you said about the annual? You said you had to do something annually.
Yeah, because you can choose an annual or a linear mortgage.
Who and what did you have to pay for? So you've mentioned the financial advisor, technical inspection. You had to pay for the taxation too?
Yeah, we had to pay the financial advisor. He was $950.
For everything, all the appointments and everything he had to do.
Yeah, but that's just for him to do the mortgage and I guess like the financial stuff. But then we also hired him to do the bidding, which I could have just did that myself. You pay $1,600 for the bidding. Would I do it again? No.
Okay.
But you can pay for that. We didn't think anyone would take us serious if we did not have anyone representing us. So then we hired him for that.
Okay.
So I think overall we pay him like 2.550. Another funny thing is you have to pay for a translator. So
Yeah. Yeah, but you have a Dutch partner, so
that's what I said. I said, why can't he translate? But no, that didn't work. I think he was about 330 euros.
Okay.
I thought that was expensive, and the notary said, no, that's cheap. Okay. It was barely an hour. He got $300 or euros. You have to pay the taxation. You also have to pay the technical inspection if you decide to do it.
Yep.
And then there are always these little small taxes and stuff that you have to pay that probably equal a couple €100.
What about the down payment for the house? Did you have to?
No.
Why? I thought it was usually like, I don't know, pay 10K or pay 20K as the down payment, then pay the rest as your monthly mortgage.
No, I don't think so. I think if you have the funds, if you have the money to, you can do a down payment, but it's not required for you to do a down payment.
Oh, the down payment is just to reduce how much you have to pay eventually.
Monthly, yeah.
Oh, I thought that was like a thing of the more expensive house you buy, the bigger your down payment is.
I know in the States it is a thing. I don't think in the Netherlands it is a thing. Maybe with your second house you have to do a down payment, but I'm not so sure with the
first. Okay. Were there any unexpected costs that came up before getting the keys, before signing anything? Was there something you didn't plan for? Well, I mean, the translation, I believe, having a Dutch partner, you didn't expect that. But was there any other costs you didn't expect that came up?
No, I mean, just probably the stuff in the fine print. Like today I was looking at the bill again and it was just like something for water, a water pump or something. I don't know what I paid for. You know, like, so some stuff like that is just like these small things, or something also called a cadaster, which I think is a place of ground or something like that, which I also saw we paid for. So it's just small things. You look again and you're like, what is that even? But you paid it. So it's just like small stuff, but it's not anything that should have you like afraid of buying a house.
You also mentioned earlier that you pay, well, without the tax returns, you pay like 2,400. Is this everything that you pay in a month, or does this payment include your insurance, your taxes on your properties, or are those separate payments?
No, this is everything. So we pay, I think, around 2.4, but then the government gives you quite a bit back, like 900 or something back, I believe. And so then with that, you probably pay like 1.5, but everything, as far as I know, is included in that. So
once you pay this monthly, except the maintenance you have to do for the house, that is all you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've touched this briefly before, and you just mentioned it again, but are there any tax benefits or general benefits of being a homeowner?
I mean, the money you will get back from the government for the mortgage, you have your own place. You can do what you want. You can paint what you want. You can tear down what you want. The benefit is just having your own thing and being able to have the freedom to do what you want.
Yeah. But what is one thing you would do differently? Like if there was something you had known before the process, like there was something you said you paid for the bidding. You said you wouldn't pay for the bid anymore. Is it like you now feel confident in yourself to bid, or?
It's because I think all he did was call them and say they bid $495, and she said okay. Like, bro, like that's my mortgage, bro, and he just got it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I don't think it was that much work.
Okay.
I think he said like, yeah, well, we have to do the explanations and we have to do some paperwork, and it took him a day to do everything. So I guess maybe that's why it's so expensive. If I was to buy another house, no, I would not pay for the bidding. I would do it myself. I also would hire movers, because when we moved, it was just the house was furnished, but we still had to move some stuff. So it was just one of my friends who helped us move out, and then to the new house there was just 2 people. So I would definitely hire movers because it took us like some weeks to, put everything together and stuff. So I think I have one last thing. The only other challenge I would say is the banks. I don't want to dox the bank, so I ain't gonna say the name. But the bank we chose, would I choose them again? No, most likely not. I don't think so.
But you're already in this relationship with the bank for 30 years.
I want out.
So what did you sign up for? What happened with the bank?
Well, I think they almost cost us like the cooling down period. I believe there's something called the cooling down period. Like something is protected. Like you mentioned, like the 10%.
Yeah.
Like there is a 10% payment, but it's to like solidify like your bid, like so that you're actually buying the house.
Yeah.
But that 10% comes from the mortgage that you're already going to get. But I think it's only for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And so you're expected to have the mortgage before the insurance runs out.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the mortgage before the insurance ran out.
Yeah.
So I think it took them like a week and the insurance was gone. So that means if anything happened, we need to pay that $50K.
Yeah.
They were a bit slow and they were just like kind of inconsistent in their communication with us regarding it. Like, oh, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But for us, it was kind of like, if something happens, we don't have $50K to pay, So that's why I would probably, I don't know, choose a different bank, or I don't know, see if they can be more direct or something.
Was that something that just happened during that period, or is this a consistent pattern you have seen with the bank, with communications and things like that?
No, it was the whole time. They just slow.
Okay.
This particular bank, they're just very slow.
Okay.
And I thought it was due to holidays and stuff, but when I asked someone who works there, they were like, what holidays? So I just think they're quite slow.
A formal excuse, your email. Sorry, due to the holidays, that's why you're expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Anyways, this was pretty much all the questions I had.
Yeah.
And again, I think you also bring a unique perspective with the fact that you found this with your partner, unlike the few people I've interviewed who found this by themselves. So thanks for sharing all of this. I don't know if you're okay with sharing your contact so people can reach out to you with questions. I'll share this in the video description.
Yeah.
If you have questions, you can reach out to this American.
Yes.
But yeah, thanks for coming and sharing, and I look forward to visiting you sometime in your own house and eating food, of course, but
American food.
American food, yeah. But anyways, thank you, Shay, and thank you for watching. Leave your questions in the comments, and see you in my next video.
Do
it.